What's up guys, Apple Non-Stop here, and today I'm going to be talking about WWDC, right? Now WWDC was just a couple of days ago, and they released a lot, right? So, as normal, they did talk about all their OSs, right? But at the start, they did say there was going to be 6 key points to this keynote, right? So the first one got tvOS. Now they never really done anything to tvOS this year, apart from add Amazon Prime onto it, right? And that's all they talked about. Took them about 2 minutes, right? Then they went on to the Apple Watch, point 2, right? And they said it's the number 1 smartwatch in the world now, right? And they called it WatchOS 4, as well anticipated, right? So no change there. And with WatchOS 4, they've added some new watch faces, as they would normally, right? So we've got the new Surrey watch face, which gives you a bunch of recommended stuff, right? We've got a kaleidoscope watch face, which you can take photos, right, and you can turn them into a kaleidoscope and it will change throughout the day, right, which is quite smart. And we also have some Toy Story ones. So we've got Woody, Buzz and Jessie from Toy Story, right, to go along with Mickey and Minnie. Right, we can now get playlists in Apple Music, right, and there's stuff like this where it can actually monitor your glucose level. There's a bunch of new stuff that they've added, right, and then they moved on to Mac OS, right, and they've renamed it to Mac OS High Sierra, and that's just from Sierra, right. Right, and with Mac OS High Sierra, they've brought autoplay blocking. So if you ever go into a website and a video automatically starts playing and you've no idea where it's coming from, this will stop that video automatically when you go into a website from playing. Right, and they've also got intelligent tracking prevention, right, which is if you were to buy something, an item, or even look at the item, but you went into a different website after that, and you see advertisements for that item, it will block that, so that will never happen again, right? And they've went on to talk about these 3 key points. So you've got data, video and graphics, and for data, they says they have changed Apple's file system. They've changed it to the Apple file system, right? Because they've done that on iPhone a couple weeks or a couple months ago now, right? And that's then finally moved on to it with the Mac, and then they've moved on to video, right? And they says they've upgraded their H.264 to H.265, which will now allow 4K videos, right? And it's a lot higher efficiency, right? It's up to 40 times faster and 40 times better compression than H.264, and it takes up twice less storage than H.265. Right? Now Metal, they upgraded that to Metal 2, right, which is now 10 times more thought through, right, and the developer kit for that is available today, right. And then they've went on to talk about how they've upgraded every Mac they've got. So they've upgraded all the iMacs and MacBooks, right. There's 7 of them in total they've upgraded. So they've given it the best display they've ever made, right, which is 500 nits, 43% brighter, 10 bits, right, and 1 billion colours, right. So it's faster processor now. So it's got 7 Gen Intel Core, like Kaby Lake. It's got higher bass and turbo frequencies, 10-bit HEVC decode, right. It's up to 80% faster graphics and up to 3 times faster graphics, right. And these will be the prices for the new iMacs with all these upgraded stuff, right. And then for the MacBooks, they've gave it the same 7th Gen Intel Core, right, up to 50% faster SSDs, right, and faster standard graphics on the 15-inch one. And these were going to be the prices, but then for the MacBook Pro 13-inch without the touch bar, they decided to lower the price to £1,299. So these are all the prices for them, and all of them will be available for shipping today. So you're able to get them as soon as, right. And then they also introduced a new iMac Pro, right. It's the most powerful Mac they've ever made. Right? It's not only has it got an 8-core Xeon processor, but they gave one with a 10-core and an 18-core Xeon processor. It's got 44 million pixels. Right, and what this iMac now has, it's got 5K display. It's obviously got the 8-core Xeon processor. It's got Vega graphics, 32GB ECC memory, 1TB SSD, 3 Thunderbolts, and 10GB Ethernet. But this Mac is fairly expensive and will start at £4,999 or dollars, right? And will be available in December, right? That's the new look at the Mac, right? And then they moved on to iOS 11, which is their 0.4, right? And they spoke about how 86% of iOS users have installed iOS 10, compared to 7% of Android users which have installed the new iOS Android 7. Right? And in this iOS 11, they've got a completely new redesigned app drawer, right, as you can see down the bottom, right? And messages in the cloud. So what that is if I have 3 devices all linked up, and I can see messages on all of them, but if I delete a message on one of them on iOS 10, it would still be there on the rest. Whereas on iOS 11 now, it deletes it from every device. Right, so it saves storage on iCloud as well. Right, you can now send and receive money using Apple Pay through your contacts, right? Which is really smart, and it's much more handier to send money through people, right? But when you do receive money, it will send it into a wee Apple Pay card, right? Which from there you can send on to your friends or family, right? You can make purchases, like use it like a normal credit card, or you can just transfer that money straight into your bank, right? And then they've upgraded Siri as well, right? So not only did they make it sound more fluent and much more realistic, but they've allowed it to do translations. So Siri can now translate not very much languages, but there's 5 languages she can currently translate English to. So it's Chinese, French, German, Italian and Spanish. Which, just to begin with, that's pretty good. But that will only be in the betas, and they will add more languages by the time iOS 11 actually comes round. Right? And they added a bunch of new features to Siri. Right? And they've also added that new video format that they gave the Mac. They've added that to the iOS 11. Right? So the HEVC. Right? Which is 2 times better compression on photos and videos. Right? And they've also gave it improved image quality, improved low lighting performance, optical image stabilization and true tone flash and HDR, right? So it means you can now do portrait photos in low light, right? And you've got live photos. They gave a big update, so you can now trim live photos to the way you want them. Right? You can select the key photo of the live photo that you want to use. You can mute the live photo, loop it, bounce it, so do whatever you want, like add cool effects to it and stuff like that, right? Then they went on to talk about their new dock, which is pretty smart. I've got it here, right? Then they showed about all the live photos, so changing the notes and all that. Then they went on to maps. So now in maps, you can now see the speed limits of the roads you're on. And not only that, but if you're getting directions to a certain place, you will now get lane guidance. So it'll tell you what lane you have to be in to get to where you want to go. Right? And they also introduced a new thing called Do Not Disturb whilst driving. Which what it is it's like Do Not Disturb, like not send you notifications, but it's whilst you're driving. Right? So instead of at night. So if you get to a certain speed in a car, or it senses that you're moving fast, right? It will ask you, do you want to turn it on, because you're in the car. And if you do turn it on, right, it will do this. So if your friend messages you, it will message them back saying, do not disturb is turned on, and they'll see the message when they get where they're going. But if it's really urgent, send me the message urgent, and the message will go right through. Right? Which is really smart. And then they introduced AirPlay 2. Right, which will give multi-room audio, right, which means you can now share music with your friends on Up Next. So if I was listening to music at a party and had an up next playlist, my friends could come along, add music to it, right? And everybody on Apple Music now has their own profile, right? So you've all got your profiles, and you can now see what your friends have been listening to as well, right? So there's the profiles, and you get to see what your friends have been listening to and who's been listening to that song, right? And then they updated the App Store. I'm not a big fan of the new update. It looks a bit too big for me. Right? It's not all like compact like it used to be, and not all in one place. It's kind of clustered, right? Which I'm not a big fan of. Right? And then back onto the camera. So it's now got face tracking, face detection, landmarks detection, right? Text detection, rectangular detection, barcode detection, object tracking, and image recognition, right? Which is really good. Then they moved on to AR, right? Augmented reality, right? And they demoed a new game that a company's making, right? On the table, and it looks extremely realistic. Right? You can move it around and it'll show you a bunch of different angles and everything like that. Right? And it all stays in the same place. Right? Then on to the fifth point, they've talked about the iPad Pro, right? Which is a brand new iPad Pro they've just released. It's got thinner bezels, right? Which gives it 20% larger screen, right? And I have just bought one, so it should be here in a couple of days. Right? It only weighs £1, right? And it's got true tone display, wide colour gamut, ultra glow reflectivity, right? 600 nits brightness, and HDR video, right? And this is how much times, so 60 Hz is how much times your phone or iPad will refresh itself every second, right? But on this iPad, they've doubled that, and it now refreshes 120 times per second, which you will never even notice it refreshing, right? But cameras sometimes pick it up, and it'll look amazing now, right? They've also added an A10X Fusion chip to it. Right? It's now 30% faster CPU performance, 40% faster graphic performance, and they've even added the iPhone 7 cameras to it, so on the front and the back, right? So it's got 4K capture, 12 megapixel camera on the back, and 7 megapixels in the front, right? And it'll start off for 64GB for both of them. The 10.5 inch will cost £649, and then 12.9 inch will cost £799, right? Which is really good for iPad Pro, right? And then it's obviously got 256GB and then 512, so you can get it in loads of sizes, but it does go up the price. Right? And then they even gave the iPad, in a sense, its new iOS system by itself. It's still iOS, but what they've done is they've changed a bunch of stuff for the iPad, right? So they've given it a completely new dock, right? So this is it here, right? And you can put as much apps into it as you want, right? And the very last 3 apps, right, are recommended apps, but you can also open the dock inside apps, right? And to go along with the new dock, they've given a new multitasking. So you can drag apps out of the dock when in an app and pull it up into multitasking. So that's, instead of the swiping in from the right hand side, you can now drag and drop it in, right? It'll open up, right? And that's your new app switcher view. So you've got Control Center in there at once. You've got all your apps, and your dock is in there at once. So it's quite compact for the new app switcher, but it does look really nice. Right, you've got drag and drop features, so you can drag and drop pictures and anything into each apps when you've got multitasker view on. Right, and then quick type. So if I held onto like Q, right, and pulled it down, right, it would actually, instead of typing Q on my keyboard, it would type 1. So it's a wee bit of a faster way to type, and saves you having to go back onto the number page, right, every time you actually want to type something. Right, they've even introduced Apple Files. You won't get to see as much of your files as you would have if it was jailbroken, but it's still a step forward for Apple. Right, so it's got nesting folders, spring loads, view lists, favourites, search and tags, right? And then they've also introduced markup, right? So when you take a screenshot, it will go down into the bottom corner, right? And I can open that up, right? And I can kind of crop it out, right? And I can kind of do what I want with it, right? And then I can draw on it and everything, right? And I can delete the screenshot if I wanted, right? And now they've got even better camera, so which means if you take a picture of a document, it will now kind of turn it into a proper document. But with the markup, you can now add signatures on it as well, right? And this iOS 11 beta is available today, and I will upload a video tomorrow on how to download this beta, right? So you got the breakthrough home speaker now. This is 0.6, right? And this is Apple's new Siri speaker we've been talking about for quite a while now, and we've easily predicted. It is now called HomePod, right? And it has 7 beam forming arrays, right? Directional control, right? And it's called HomePod, right? It's got Apple's A8 chip in it, which has real-time acoustic modelling, audio beam forming, and multi-channel echo cancellation, right? This Siri speaker, right, not only is it a speaker, but it's kind of a home assistant. So it is now going to be one of the best ones out there, right? Because it's crossed with a Sonos speaker, if you have ever heard of that, and like an Amazon Echo kind of thing, right? And that's kind of the way it would bounce. The orange ones have been bounced off the wall and would come at you, so it kind of tracks what's in the room and everything to make it sound better, right? It's got 6 microphone array, right? And your normal Wi-Fi speaker would cost £300 to £500, and any other one, your home assistant, would be a wee bit cheaper, right? So they've made theirs £349, right? Which is really good, but it'll be available in December in the US, UK and Australia, but then they'll open up to more countries later on, right? So that is it for WWDC, right? And I will be posting a lot more iOS 11 videos and some watchOS videos, and then I'll show you my new iPad when it comes, right? So thanks for watching, see you next time.